Hi there, this is Nicole from Right at Home, and in today's video I'm showing you a few different ideas using our Be Mine bundle, which is a special promotion that we're holding to celebrate Valentine's Day. The items in the bundle are from a previous release, but in case you didn't snag them yet, this is the perfect time to do so at a great price. This bundle includes a 4x6 stamp set and a coordinating die set that can be used to create projects like the ones I'll be showing you today. These items retail for $45.99 if purchased separately, but if you purchase the bundle, you can get both items for $32.99, which is essentially like purchasing the die set and receiving the coordinating stamp for just $2.99. This bundle is available for a limited time and in limited quantities, so make sure to grab yours if you're interested. Let's get started. So on screen here, I'm giving you a closer look at the bundle, which includes our Be Mine stamp set, which is a 4x6 stamp set that includes several sentiments for creating Valentine's Day cards or just love-themed cards in general. There's Be Mine, Love You, You Make Me Feel All the Feelings, and even some thinner sentiments that would work well on sentiment strips. And all of these sentiments are sized to work with the next item in our bundle, which is the Folded Sweetheart die set. This die set creates a heart that has two flaps that open up to reveal a message inside. There's another heart included in the die set, which acts as a matte layer for the inside. There's a long love you sentiment die, a tag, and even a few little tassel dies, which all work together to help you create adorable valentines for your loved ones. I'm going to show you a few ideas today using this bundle, but please know that there's so many possibilities from making quick and simple valentines or ones that are a little bit more complex, like the first example that I'm going to show you. So here's a look at the first folded valentine that I made. I tied it around a box of candy here, and when you undo the twine, you'll see that there's a sentiment inside and that it's even a shaker. There's no foam tape involved here, so it's a flat shaker that is super easy to create. You'll also notice that I actually turned the folded heart into a tag as well, and I'll show you my hack for doing that too. Here's the pieces you'll need. I have the largest die here cut from thick white cardstock, and this is so our heart has some stability. Here I have this piece which I cut from pink cardstock, and it's only partially cut because we're only going to need the outline of the heart. I created this from the larger die in the set and the mat that goes inside. You'll want to detach these two dies from each other, but you can washi tape them back together in order to run them through your die cutting machine so that you're able to get the outline. You'll want to cut the solid heart larger shape from some acetate as well, which I'm showing here, and this will act as our shaker window to keep all the little glitter pieces inside. And don't worry about the little overhang pieces there, we'll be trimming those off once we're ready to start assembling. I also cut some flap pieces for the front of the folded valentine from some dark pink cardstock, as well as a tag. You'll also need some hole reinforcers and one of the little tassels which I cut from silver glitter cardstock. You'll also want to cut a white tag as well. To start, I'll be stamping a sentiment on the inside of our folded piece. I'm using the Be Mine sentiment, and I'll be stamping it in red ink. Then I'm going to use the little check mark from the set and stamp that in a pink ink onto one of the check boxes. For the front, I'm going to grab the two dark pink flaps and add some washi tape to the back to hold them together because I want to stamp a continuous pattern onto the front of them. For the pattern, I'm going to use the lip stamp from the set, and I'll be stamping that in a dark pink ink for a tone-on-tone effect. So just stamp until the entire front of the flaps is covered. Next, I'm going to stamp the little I heart you sentiment onto the white tag. This sentiment comes as one solid stamp on the set, but I trimmed mine apart so that I could stamp the heart in a different ink color. So for the I and U, I used black ink, and for the heart, I used red. Once I'm done stamping, I can fold my heart together. The flaps do have score lines, so they will fold easily. And then I can also cut the extra pieces off of my pink flaps and adhere them to the front. And once they're glued, you'll see how cute this Valentine is starting to look. Next, you can glue on the little hole reinforcers using some liquid glue. I cut one for the little white tag as well from pink cardstock. And once that is done, we can move on to creating the shaker inside. I'm going to start by gluing the pink heart ring and the acetate piece together with some liquid glue. Since this piece is going inside the Valentine and there needs to be room for the flap folds to properly close, you'll need to cut off a little bit on each side in order for it to nestle inside there without getting crumpled. So you'll see me here test it until it closes with no issue. Then I'm going to glue this piece onto the inside, but I'm only going to add glue about 3/4 of the way so that I still have room to slide in my heart glitter pieces. And once those are inside, I can finish gluing. So to turn this Valentine into a tag, you'll want to use the little tag die that we cut from the same dark pink cardstock, add some glue to the bottom of it, and then adhere it to the back in the top corner there. And this just helps it kind of blend in, and it will also give you a place to string some twine and hang it from any sort of treat that you want to give to somebody. To close the flaps of your Valentine, I have a piece of red and white twine that I just strung through the holes, and then I can add my white tag and my tassel. I like to add a few more slits to the tassel so that it has more movement and texture, and then once you do that, you can just tie it all closed. For my box of candy, I just used a piece of pink cardstock and cut it to be slightly thinner than the actual box. And then I stamped the XOXO stamp all over the front of it with a tone-on-tone ink color. And then I just used another piece of twine to add my tag. So you can see here what the finished tag and treat looks like and how the inside is a fun shaker. So I wanted to show you a second option for how you can put this die set together. This one is just a flat Valentine, so it doesn't have the shaker or the tag element and is more of a standalone piece that you can give to somebody. I did the same thing where I cut it first from white cardstock and glued the color flaps on the front, but you'll see I actually did a two-tone flap here, so the left is a dark pink and the right is a lighter pink. I thought that that just added a fun element. I stamped the flaps with the XOXO stamp this time in a medium pink ink so that it would show up well on both shades of pink. Then for the sentiment, I actually used the Long Love You die from the set and cut it so that I was able to stack the words on the front. I cut it twice, once from white and once from glitter cardstock, so that I could get an offset look. You'll notice this Valentine also doesn't have any sort of closure, and I was okay with that because I kind of liked the way that it looked without one, so I just tried to cover the two little holes there on the front so that since they weren't being used. For the sentiment, I also glued each part of the word on one side of the flap, so the love is glued on the left and the U is glued on the right flap, and this just kind of creates another almost interactive piece to the Valentine when it opens and closes. Inside, I stamped another one of the sentiments in red onto a mat that I cut using the die set. I added a few clay hearts and some of the glitter pieces that I used in the previous Valentine to finish it off. So this is a little bit of a simpler version of the die set, but you could totally make this even more simple if you wanted to mass produce these. I loved trying to mix and match the different pieces together in different ways so that I could show you as much inspiration as possible, but always know that you can make it your own. For the next idea, I'm showing this card that I made using some of the stamps and the heart layer piece and love you sentiment from the die set. This card makes me so excited because I was able to achieve a foiled background using the XOXO stamp and a glue pen. So let me show you how I did it. I'm starting here with a panel of white cardstock cut using a rectangle die with a stitched edge, and in the center I'm laying down a heart that was cut with the layering piece from the die set, and I'm just using this as a guide for where to stamp, so I'll place it in the center and trace it with a pencil. Then I'm going to go in and stamp using the XOXO from the set in a light pink ink. I'm going to concentrate my stamping around the outside of the traced line, as that is what will show once the heart is glued on top. When picking your ink color, you'll want to choose something that coordinates with the project because some of it may show through a little bit once we're done foiling. Once I'm done stamping, I'll erase the pencil lines, and now I can start adding the glue. Here I'm using a Zig two-way glue pen in the fine tip, and what you're going to want to do is trace all of the XOXOs with glue. I know it sounds like it will take forever to do this, but it really does only take a few minutes, especially if you have a fresh glue pen that is running easily. Here mine was a little gummed up, but I ended up fixing it and then I was able to go a little bit more quickly. You'll also only have to add glue to the parts that will be showing from around the heart, so you can skip anything that's in the middle. Once you've added the glue, you'll want to wait until it is dry and it has turned completely clear. So in the meantime, we can do some more stamping. I have another heart layer here cut from a dark pink cardstock, and I'm going to use the Forever and Always stamp, which is one of the strip stamps on the set, and I'll create a pattern on the background. So I just stamped it at an angle in red ink and repeated the process until the entire heart was covered. And when it's finished, we just have a cute heart with a little pattern that serves as another sentiment for the card. Now the glue should be dry on my stamped piece, and I can lay a piece of silver deco foil over top. This is the type of foil that is used with toner sheets. I'm gently rubbing the foil into the glue, and you'll start to see the pattern show through. Now I'm starting to peel off the foil, and you'll see me put it back down a lot, and that's because it doesn't always stick 100%, so I just rub a little harder in certain areas and continue peeling. One thing I want to note about this technique is that the process isn't as smooth and crisp looking as hot foiling, but I personally was really happy with the results and that I was able to achieve a shiny background for my card that has, the foiling, and I was just using a glue pen and a stamp. If there's any places where you want to add more glue, you can just go in with your pen and add more foil once it's dry. There was one place where I could not get the foil to stick, but I plan to cover that spot with the heart. So to finish off the card, I added another heart layer behind our stamped one to give kind of an offset look, and then I just popped up that whole piece onto the front of the card, making sure to cover any of the unfoiled parts. Then for the sentiment, I'm cutting apart the long love you die, and I'm just starting with the Y, and I'm following that curve with my scissors just to get a clean look. And then you'll want to go back to the love because the E kind of has a sharp edge when you cut the Y, so you'll just want to round that off so that it all looks finished. And then I did that for the white layer that I cut and also the silver glitter cardstock layer that I cut. And once I did that, I just glued them together again with the offset look. If you can't tell, I'm just really loving that effect. And then I glued both of the words onto the center of the heart using some liquid glue. And then you can add this entire panel to the front of a pink card base. And to finish it off, I just added some little clay hearts kind of scattered around the sentiment there. And here's a look at the finished card. I just love all that silver foil on the background, and I hope you're as excited about that technique as I am. For this last card, I'm just going to walk you through the process as I know this video is already getting long. I essentially did the same process as I did for the first Valentine shaker that I made, but I adapted it for a card front. So I started by taking the large heart die from the set and washi taping it together with the little inner piece, just like we did before. And I ran that through my die cutting machine and cut it from 3 pieces of thick white cardstock and then 1 piece of dark pink cardstock. Then I took out that inner piece so that it would just cut a solid heart, and I cut that from acetate. So again, that would act as our little barrier for holding in all the glitter pieces. Then I also just cut the inner heart piece by itself, and I cut that from light pink cardstock, and that kind of acted as a backdrop for the inside of the shaker, which you can see there. I have it laid back behind there, and I had stamped it with the XOXO stamp as well. So once you have all those pieces cut, the 3 thick white cardstock pieces, and then the acetate sheet, and then the dark pink cardstock, you'll want to glue those all together. Then you can glue down the inner pink heart that we cut and stamped with the XOXO, add some of the little glitter pieces on top, and then glue the kind of cover for our shaker on top. For the sentiment on the right, I just used the same love you die but kept it as one long word and cut it from some hollow cardstock. Then I added a sentiment strip below and a few more clay hearts. So I hope you enjoyed this walkthrough of our Be Mine bundle. This is a versatile duo of products, and I had such a fun time creating these Valentines that I can't wait to give to my loved ones. This bundle is priced at $32.99 and is available on our shop for a limited time and in limited quantities. So if you're interested in picking up this bundle, you can find a link in the description box below. Thanks for watching, and make sure to let me know in the comments which project was your favorite. Bye!